Welcome back to Ahmedabad Real Estate Review, your guide to smart property investments in Gujarat. I'm Robin Patel, and I'm so glad you could join us for this special episode. We're going to be talking about the Indian Union Budget 2025-26 and what it means for all of you property lovers out there.
And I'm Namasha, joining you as always. This episode is brought to you by SOS Realty, Ahmedabad's trusted real estate partner. They've helped so many people find the right property and make smart decisions.
And speaking of smart decisions, you remember a few years back when the government announced that huge infrastructure project in Shalaj?
Oh yeah, the one that made property values just shoot up?
Exactly. My client at the time was thrilled. But hey, let's not dwell on the past. Let's jump into this year's budget. It's all about infrastructure, fiscal reforms, and some really cool housing incentives.
And the government is putting their money where their mouth is. A massive 11.2 lakh crore rupees allocated for capital expenditure. That's 3.1% of the GDP. They're serious about growth.
For sure. And that's great news for anyone interested in real estate. Okay, so let's start with affordable housing.
It seems like the government is doing everything they can to make owning a home a reality for more people. The Prime Minister Awas Yojana Urban 2.0, also known as PMAY, Urban has been extended with a huge 10 lakh crore rupee allocation.
Wow, that's a lot of money. What does this mean for people looking to buy homes in Ahmedabad?
Well, this boost to PMA Urban is going to mean a lot more affordable housing options, especially for the middle class and the urban poor.
That's fantastic news. And there's something in this budget specifically for women, right?
You got it. The government has introduced stamp duty concessions for women who are looking to buy property. It's a great way to encourage more women to invest in real estate and build their financial security.
It's great to see that happening. Now let's change gears a little and talk about something that gets every investor excited: infrastructure upgrades.
Ah, yes. The magic words that usually mean property values are going up. This budget has allocated 1 lakh crore rupees to the Urban Challenge Fund specifically for improving our cities. We're talking about better water management, sanitation, and even some really cool redevelopment projects.
So making Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar even more attractive to live in. But how will this actually affect property values?
Think about it. When a city is a great place to live with good infrastructure and amenities, people are willing to pay more to live there. That's how these upgrades lead to higher property values.
I see. So it's about making the city more desirable, which then increases demand. And while we're talking about desirable areas, let's talk about the PM Gati Shakti Master Plan. I know Gift City is going to benefit from this, but what's the overall impact?
The PM Gati Shakti Master Plan is all about building a strong and connected infrastructure network across India. For Ahmedabad and areas like Gift City, this means a big expansion of the metro, the airport, and a major upgrade to the roads.
So it's not just about building new things, it's about connecting them all seamlessly. How does this affect property in areas like SG Highway and Gift City?
Imagine this, you can now get from SG Highway to Gift City much faster thanks to the expanded metro. Businesses can move goods more easily with better roads and access to a world-class airport. This makes these areas even more attractive for businesses and investors, which drives up demand and, as a result, property values.
So everyone wins. Improves infrastructure, helps the economy, and it also helps the real estate market, both commercial and residential. Now let's talk about commercial real estate and logistics. What's in this budget for them?
If you're looking for investment hotspots, Dholera SIR is the place to be. This special investment region is strategically located between Ahmedabad and Bhavnagar, and the government is putting a lot of resources into developing it.
Hold on. I know about special economic zones, but what exactly is Dholera SI? What makes it so special?
Dholera SIR is more than just an economic zone. It's going to be a brand new city built from scratch with the latest infrastructure, sustainable technologies, and a focus on attracting major industries. It's like a blank slate for businesses and investors who want to be part of the next big thing.
That sounds really ambitious. What kind of incentives are we talking about here?
The budget has a lot of money set aside for developing world-class warehousing logistics and smart city infrastructure in Dholera SIR. Plus, there are some great tax breaks and financial incentives to make it even more attractive for businesses to set up there.
So Dholera SIR is the place to be if you want to see big growth in commercial real estate or logistics. But what about people who are interested in more established areas? Are there any incentives for commercial property development in, say, Ahmedabad?
Definitely. Even if you're not looking at a brand new project like Dholera SIR, there are still benefits. This budget has some tax breaks and support measures to make commercial property development more attractive to investors.
Okay, I'm listening. What kind of tax breaks are we talking about?
Well, first of all, there's a reduction in capital gains tax for people investing in commercial property. And there are some good deductions on interest payments for loans used for commercial development. These measures are designed to make it easier and more profitable for people to invest in commercial real estate.
So the government is basically saying, we want to see more commercial development, and we're going to make it worth your while. That's a pretty strong message.
Exactly. Whether it's through direct investment in huge projects like Dholera SIR or by giving incentives for commercial development in existing cities, this budget shows that the government is serious about growing commercial real estate in Gujarat.
Now we've covered affordable housing infrastructure upgrades and the potential of Dholera SR. Let's move on to tax reforms and how they might affect the real estate market.
Tax reforms always have a ripple effect, and this budget is no different. The changes to the new tax regime, especially the higher rebate limit, are meant to give the middle class more money to spend.
And when people have more money to spend, they usually start thinking about big investments like buying a home, right? How does this relate to the housing market?
It's pretty simple. When people have more money, they're more likely to consider buying a home. So these tax breaks could lead to a surge in demand for housing, especially in the mid-range segment.
That makes sense. So these tax reforms aren't just about putting more money in people's pockets. They're also about helping the real estate sector by creating more potential buyers.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the people who have already invested in property. This budget has some good news for landlords and investors in the rental market, too.
Oh, tell me more. I'm always interested in hearing about benefits for those who invest in real estate for the long term.
Well, the government has increased the limits for rent and interest deductions. This means property owners can claim more of their expenses, which means higher profits and a better return on their investment.
So it's a win-win for both homeowners and people who invest in rental properties. It seems like this budget has something good for everyone involved in real estate.
It does, from increasing demand through affordable housing initiatives and tax breaks to driving up property values with infrastructure upgrades and the development of huge projects like Dholera SIR. This budget is setting the stage for a booming real estate market in Gujarat.
We've covered a lot of ground already, but there's one more important piece of the puzzle. We need to look at the role of MSMEs and startups in shaping the commercial real estate landscape. Are you ready to dive into that?
Absolutely. They're the ones driving innovation and creating jobs, and this budget has some really interesting provisions designed to help them grow.
Okay, let's get into it. What kind of support are we talking about for these small and medium-sized enterprises and startups?
Well, for one thing, the government has increased credit limits for MSMEs, making it easier for them to get the money they need to grow their businesses. And for startups, they've extended tax holidays until 2030. That's a huge incentive for people to take the risk and start their dream businesses.
So the government is saying, we believe in you, and we're here to support you. That's a really powerful message that's going to inspire a lot of new businesses.
Exactly. And this wave of new businesses is going to directly impact the demand for commercial real estate, especially in areas like SG Highway, which are already hubs for startups and tech companies.
Right. We're going to see more co-working spaces, incubators, and office spaces designed for these new businesses.
Precisely. And to help small businesses even more, they've introduced customized credit cards for microenterprises with a 5 lakh rupee limit. This will help small business owners manage their finances better and encourage more investment in commercial properties.
So it's not just about tax breaks and credit. It's about creating a whole environment that supports small and medium-sized enterprises.
Exactly. And that's why I think this budget is so promising for commercial real estate. By helping small businesses thrive, the government is indirectly increasing demand for all kinds of commercial properties.
Now let's focus on a specific area that everyone's talking about, Gift City.
Gift City, India's own international financial services center. It's been attracting investors and developers for a while now, and this budget just makes it even more important.
What specific things in this budget are meant to help Gift City grow?
Well, the tax exemptions for IFSC units, which were going to expire, have been extended until March 31st, 2030. This is a big incentive for businesses to set up shop in Gift City for the long term.
So the government is serious about making Gift City a global financial hub.
Absolutely. And to make it even more attractive, they've added new provisions to support a wider range of global businesses. We're talking about ship leasing units, insurance offices, and treasury centers for big corporations. These provisions are going to bring in more foreign investment and increase demand for commercial property in Gift City.
It sounds like Gift City is on its way to becoming a truly international business destination.
It is. And it's not just about tax benefits and regulations. Gift City also has a great location and world-class infrastructure. It's well connected to major cities and ports, and it has state-of-the-art facilities for businesses to thrive.
So when you combine the government support with Gift City's natural advantages, It's a really attractive proposition for investors.
Exactly. And let's not forget about things like TradeNet, a digital platform designed to make international trade easier. With initiatives like this, Gift City is in a great position to become a major player in global trade and finance.
Talking about Gift City and how much it's grown reminds me of a client I worked with a few years ago. Right after a previous budget announcement, which introduced some great tax incentives for commercial zones in Gift City, my client decided to invest in a property there.
Oh, interesting. I'm sure that investment worked out pretty well for your client.
It did. Within just 3 years, the value of their property went up by a whopping 20%. They were so happy.
That's a perfect example of how investing at the right time when the government is supporting a particular area can lead to big returns. It's all about understanding the market and recognizing those opportunities.
Exactly. And stories like this show how important it is to stay informed about budget announcements and get expert guidance to make those well-timed investment decisions.
It's not just luck, it's about understanding how these policies can affect the market and taking advantage of the opportunities they create.
Before we move on to the next part of our discussion, I want to remind our listeners that if you're looking for personalized investment advice, SOS Realty is the place to go. They're Ahmedabad's most trusted real estate partner, and their team of experts can help you figure out the market.
Absolutely. Whether you're an experienced investor or just starting out, their team can help you make smart choices based on your own investment goals and how much risk you're comfortable with.
And the best part is they're easy to reach. Just connect with them on LinkedIn and let them know you heard about them on Ahmedabad Real Estate Review. They'll be happy to help you in any way they can.
Now, are you ready to look at the bigger picture and see how this budget translates into a vision for the future of Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar?
I am. Let's hear what this budget tells us about the government's plans for our cities.
This budget, it's not just about the numbers. It's like a blueprint for what Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar could become.
Okay, you've piqued my interest. What kind of future are we talking about here?
Imagine it thriving urban centers, top-notch infrastructure, a booming economy fueled by innovative startups and MSMEs, and a real estate market that's just overflowing with opportunity for everyone, first-time homebuyers, seasoned investors, the whole shebang.
That's a pretty amazing vision, but how does this budget actually make that happen?
Let's take the PM Gati Shakti Master Plan, for example.
Yeah.
By investing heavily in interconnected infrastructure, metros, airports, well-planned roads, it creates this smooth flow of goods, services, people, you name it.
It's not just about building new things, right? It's about making sure everything works together.
Exactly. And that efficiency, it attracts businesses and investors. It's like a magnet. It fuels economic growth, which then leads to a healthy real estate market.
I see the connection there, but what about affordable housing? How does that fit into this big picture?
Affordable housing, it's a cornerstone of this vision. When you make homeownership possible for more people, you're creating a more stable and inclusive society.
And those happy homeowners tend to spend more, which helps the economy even more, right?
Precisely, it's a win-win. But there's another interesting aspect to this affordable housing push.
Oh, tell me more.
Remember those stamp duty concessions for women buying homes?
Of course, it's a great step towards giving women more power in the real estate world.
It is, but it also has a ripple effect on the whole market. When you encourage more women to invest in property, you're increasing the number of buyers, which can help stabilize or even increase demand.
I didn't think about it that way. So it's not just about social progress, it's a smart economic move too.
You got it. It's about creating a more balanced and dynamic real estate market.
Now let's go back to Gift City. You said earlier that it's a hot spot for investment. What makes it stand out?
Well, aside from its strategic location and world-class infrastructure, Gift City operates as a separate financial jurisdiction. It has its own set of rules and regulations designed specifically to attract global businesses and investors.
So it's like a mini financial hub within India.
Exactly, and this budget has made it even more attractive. They've extended tax exemptions for IFSC units and introduced provisions that cater to global players in things like ship leasing insurance and treasury management.
So global companies get a business-friendly environment, and India gets a thriving financial hub that attracts foreign investment and creates jobs.
Exactly. And for real estate investors, Gift City offers a unique opportunity to be a part of this exciting growth story.
You also mentioned Dholera earlier as another area to watch. Why is that?
Dholera, it's a massive project, a brand new smart city strategically located between Ahmedabad and Bhavnagar. It's being developed as a major hub for manufacturing, logistics, and industry.
Sounds like a blank canvas for businesses and investors.
Exactly, and the budget has allocated a lot of money for infrastructure development. Plus, there are incentives to attract investments in things like warehousing, logistics, and smart city technologies.
Dholera seems like it's going to become a major economic force in Gujarat.
It definitely has that potential. And for real estate investors, it's a chance to get in early on a rapidly developing area.
But isn't it a bit risky to invest in something that's still in the early stages?
There's always some risk with any investment, especially in real estate. But with careful research, due diligence, and guidance from experts like our friends at SOS, realty investors can minimize those risks and potentially see big rewards.
Speaking of SOS Realty, you mentioned their expertise in navigating the real estate market. Why is it so important to have a trusted advisor in this field?
The real estate market, it's complex and it's always changing. There are so many factors involved: government policies, economic trends, local market conditions, legal regulations. It can be a lot to handle.
It's not something you want to try to figure out on your own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A trusted advisor like SOS Realty, they can help you understand the market, identify promising investment opportunities, and guide you through the whole process from due diligence to closing the deal.
They can help you avoid those pitfalls and make smart decisions based on your investment goals and your risk tolerance.
Precisely. Their expertise and experience can save you time, money, and a lot of stress.
So if you're thinking about investing in real estate, whether it's in Ahmedabad Gift City or Dholera Sarar, reach out to SOS Realty for some personalized advice.
You can find them on LinkedIn. They regularly share valuable insights and updates on the real estate market.
What's the biggest takeaway from this budget for our listeners who are interested in real estate?
The government is setting the stage for growth and investment in Gujarat, especially in the real estate sector.
So whether you're looking for a home to live in, commercial properties, or long-term investment opportunities, there's something for everyone.
Exactly. It's a really exciting time to be a real estate investor in Gujarat.
Now, I want to share a story that shows how powerful investing in real estate can be, especially when you time it right with government policies.
I love a good story. Tell me more.
A few years ago, when the government announced those tax incentives for commercial zones in Gift City, I had a client who wasn't sure about investing.
Really? Why not?
He was skeptical about the whole Gift City idea. He thought it was too ambitious and too risky. But I convinced him to take a chance.
I bet he's glad he listened to you now.
He is. Within 3 years, the value of his property went up by more than 20%. He was thrilled.
That's what I'm talking about. When you understand the market, find the right opportunities, and invest at the right time, real estate can be incredibly rewarding.
It's all about having the right information and the courage to act on it.
And of course, having a trusted advisor like SOS Realty by your side can make a big difference.
Absolutely. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about some of the potential challenges and risks that come with real estate investment in Gujarat. It's important to look at both sides of the coin before making any decisions.
That's a great point. While the overall outlook is positive, there are always things to consider. Let's discuss those in detail so our listeners can make informed choices.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the positives of real estate in Gujarat. But we have to be realistic, right?
No.
Every investment has its risks.
Yeah, for sure. It's important to be aware of the potential downsides, too.
Yeah.
We want to give our listeners the full picture.
What are some of the things investors should keep in mind before jumping in?
Well, one thing is the real estate market is cyclical, just like any market. It has its ups and downs. The outlook is good right now, but that doesn't mean it'll always be going up.
That's true. So it's smart to be prepared for those changes in the market.
Exactly. Diversification is key. Spread your investments around. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
That's good advice for any kind of investment.
Yeah.
What else should investors be careful about?
The regulations and laws around real estate are really important too. The government has a big influence on the market. Policies can change, new regulations can be introduced, and those changes can affect your investments.
So staying up to date on the legal side of things is crucial.
Absolutely, and that's another area where having a trusted advisor like SOS Realty can be a huge help. They can help you understand all those complex regulations and make sure you're making smart decisions.
It's like having someone to guide you through the maze of real estate laws.
Exactly. They can also help with due diligence, which is really important before you invest. That means things like making sure the property title is clear checking for any legal issues and understanding the zoning regulations.
So you're saying it's important to do your homework and make sure there are no hidden problems.
You got it. And another thing to consider is the overall economy, things like inflation, interest rates, and how many people have jobs. All those factors affect the real estate market.
If the economy weakens, it could affect property values and how many people want to buy.
Exactly. So it's a good idea to keep an eye on those big economic trends and adjust your investment strategy accordingly.
Let's talk about some specific challenges for Gift City and Dholera. What are some things investors should be aware of in those areas?
Gift City is still relatively new, the infrastructure is still developing, and the regulations are being fine-tuned, so there's some uncertainty. Things could change as the project grows and evolves.
So investors need to be comfortable with a bit of change and flexibility as Gift City matures.
Right. And Dholera, well, it's a brand new smart city being built from scratch, so it's going to take time for the whole ecosystem to develop. The long-term potential is huge, but investors need to be patient.
It's a long-term game, not a quick win.
Exactly. Those investments might take a while to really pay off.
And we can't forget about sustainability in the environment. Those are becoming more and more important for investors these days.
Absolutely. Buyers are looking for energy-efficient properties, access to green spaces, sustainable building materials. It's not just about location and price anymore.
People want to know about the impact on the environment and how it affects the people who live there.
Exactly, and developers are starting to pay attention to that by incorporating sustainable practices into their projects.
So investors should look for eco-friendly projects when they're making decisions.
For sure. Now, even though there are some challenges, the overall outlook for real estate in Gujarat is still positive.
That's good to hear.
The government is focused on developing infrastructure, creating affordable housing, and making a business-friendly environment. All of that creates a strong foundation for growth in the real estate sector.
So with a smart approach, careful planning, and some guidance from experts, investors can overcome those challenges and take advantage of the opportunities Gujarat has to offer.
Exactly. Remember, informed investors are empowered investors.
If our listeners are feeling a bit overwhelmed with all this information, who can they turn to for help?
SOS Realty, they're the experts when it comes to understanding the Gujarat real estate market. Their team of professionals can give you personalized advice, help you find promising investment opportunities, and guide you through the whole process.
They're easy to reach. Just send them a message on LinkedIn. So if you're serious about investing in Gujarat real estate, reach out to SOS Realty and let them help you reach your goals.
It's been great talking about the Indian Union Budget 2025-26 with you and exploring what it means for the real estate market.
We hope this special episode of Ahmedabad Real Estate Review has given our listeners some valuable insights and helped them feel confident about making smart investment decisions.
As always, remember this episode was just for informational purposes. For personalized financial or investment advice, please talk to a qualified advisor.
Until next time, happy investing. And stay tuned for more insightful episodes on Ahmedabad's dynamic real estate market.